Welcome to the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round, live from Vermont Recreation Reserve. It's a big doubleheader out here today for the Eastland Match of the Round and the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round, and we're kicking things off with the Premier Division Women's Clash between Vermont and Mount Evelyn. A day of first out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. The first time we've been out to Vermont to it since it's been redeveloped, and the first time ever we get to see Mount Evelyn in a Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round. My name is Josh Ward. Alongside me, John O'Ven and Ryan Long, who's in the special comments today, Ryan. I'll go to you first, Jono. How excited are you to be out here at the brand new Vermont Recreation Reserve and seeing Mount Evelyn for the first time?
Thanks, Woody. I'm very excited. This is my first time, as you say, coming out to Vermont, but also we get our first look at Premier Division footy this year, and we love how the Premier Division, as well as all divisions, keep getting better and better, but this is no exception. We've got a perfect day for it, and I can't wait to get started. Yeah,
picture perfect day. It's been a theme. I remember last year when we did the Sunday game for Vermont and Moreville, it was a perfect day here. The ground wasn't in as good a nick as it is now, but it's great to see. It's great to be out here for a big day at Vermont Recreation Reserve for us, and to see Vermont and Mount Evelyn first up, Ryan.
Yeah, obviously the ground's had a redevelopment. This is the first time we've been out there since it's happened, and it looks fantastic. I managed to have a bit of a walk out there earlier. Ground looks great. For us, it doesn't change too much. We're still in the same position, so that's good. The only problem, not enough parking. I've had to park at 9:30, park 10 minutes away from the ground. But
that's why Blake Tennant's a no-show today, it has to be said.
Yeah, but everything else about the ground is fantastic, and I love coming here. Vermont's a fantastic club, very strong in both the men's and the women's, and looking forward to seeing them play as well as Mount Evelyn. For the first time, we've been able to cover a Mount Evelyn match of the round, which is fantastic to see. And it's a very young side. Both sides are quite young, actually, which is great. A lot of junior talent coming up from the juniors, which is really great to see.
And we are just about to be joined by Steve Varley and Chris Clark, the two coaches, or Steve Varley, in fact, is about to join us from Mount Evelyn. So we'll get the opportunity to ask him about how the side is looking ahead of this season, but it is great. The one thing I'll add, we're close to the away interchange benches, so we might have to whisper because we're so close. We might have to do what Blake Tennant did last week. So we're just going to
no whispering here. Yeah. Get up and about.
It is a big game. It is a big game though, and very much looking forward to seeing both sides. The 19th is just under 8 minutes left, by the way, for those interested. Vermont lead 5-11-41 to Moreville 5-5-35.
Close one.
Yeah, very close one. Hopefully it's similar for every game that takes place today, as the Vermont senior women's coach, Chris Clark, joins us now on pre-game. Thank you so much for jumping on and having a chat with us, Chris, ahead of this massive contest.
Absolutely.
It's great being out here as well. I'm sure the girls are pretty excited to be playing out here for the first time. I know you would have been training on the track the last couple of weeks, but it must be exciting to be playing out here.
Yeah, it's lovely to be back home. We had a bit of an interrupted pre-season, and nerves. We were filled with nerves last week with our first game of the season playing away, but I think we're much more filled with excitement to be back home, and it's a great place to be. And a perfect day for football.
Yeah, and did you take many learnings from that first game? Obviously, a spirited fight back in that last quarter against Baronia.
Yeah, well, it's certainly given us the belief that our game plan is solid, and if we stick to the processes, hopefully we can get away with the chocolates. It was certainly, like I said, nerves held us back early. Once we realised that we could spread our wings and fly, we really hit our straps in the last. And now we've got that belief that 21 points may not be a bridge too far in the future.
Absolutely, and the group is still pretty young overall, so there's some players coming in pretty fresh into senior footy. How have you seen it and their development as the season starts?
Yeah, it's very exciting because obviously the girls coming up from unders, they play a different brand of football. So as we watch the women's football game evolve, we've got the luxury of having such a strong junior club, and we've got access to players through Coates League and the likes coming to join us this season and hopefully next season. So yeah, we obviously want to have a game that relies on our outside run, inside run, and just that, the ability to use the ball better than for kids that have been playing football for now 10 years.
And I managed to catch a bit of that game last week, and Madison Bazzano ended up with a few goals for, and she's a bit more of an experienced player for you guys. How have you seen her and some of those more experienced players helping out the younger group?
Yeah, she's Maddie's special. Like, she's one of those kids that is the softest leader with the best message. So she one of our philosophies this year is to make sure that we're encouraging at all contests. If we make a mistake, we put our arm around each other. Yeah, there's no barking. And Madison is that to a T. So she's a kid that organises the forward line, creates the space for herself to run into and score snags, and she's very, very clever around goal, but also a kid with a solid kicking routine when she does take a mark. So more than likely, if she's taken a mark out within range, get your texter out, mark down a goal. Yeah, she's one of those kids that she's a solid goal kick.
Chris, for the I suppose for the Deakin University EFNL women's footy fans out there, you as the new coach coming into a brand new season, what was pre-season like? I know we're 2 weeks into the season now, but in terms of the expectations that you set for the playing group and that sort of thing, what's the culture been like under you so far?
Yeah, look, again, so I came in and I'm new to senior women's football, but not new to women's sport. So I know that the girls, it's all about enjoyment. And so that was our philosophy this year, is that we're going to have an enjoyment first brand of football. So, yeah, we started off a little disjointed because obviously, we're the third year coach in 3 seasons, so those sort of shake-ups always get tongues wagging. But we've come home with a wet sail. We've got some real solid inclusions. We've got Alice Stewart, who's come across from Nunawading, but a kid that played up in the territory that was in Queensland. There was a late inclusion. And just this week we've signed Amy Carr from Box Hill Hawks, who played a season up at St Mary's. So yeah, we've got some really high-end talent arriving late. So although we started wonky, we're finishing strong.
Yeah, and some of those other new players as well. Alice Campbell with VFLW experience with Port Melbourne. Charlotte Jones coming across from Surrey Park as well. So how have they brought into how's the chemistry been built between the newer girls and the ladies that have stuck around?
Thank you. Yeah, great question. So CJ or Charlotte, she arrived the start of the year. She missed our pre-Christmas training sessions, but arrived as we hit the ground in the new year. Before I got to introduce her to anyone, she'd already made 10 new friends. So she's one of those kids that's part of that glue that holds us together. She's a social animal. She's a lot of fun to be around, and she puts a smile on your face every time you see her. Slice has got more moves than a can of worms, and she is full of talent, that kid. Absolutely full of talent. So she got the ball yesterday, last week, and probably had maybe 10 plus bounces. Ran
That's
around
amazing.
players, and she's got some serious class. But quiet as a mouse. You don't know she's there until she's already kicked a goal on you.
I'm excited to see a couple of those new players, as well as some of the players that are still around. Well, we better let you go, Chris. We really appreciate your time, and it's great being out here as well to watch Vermont take on Mount Evelyn. Good luck for today and for the rest of the season.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you to Chris Clark there, the new senior women's coach of the new senior women's coach of the Vermont Football Netball Club. It's exciting times for Vermont, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this season goes for Vermont. We're just about to be joined by Steve Varley, but Jono, Vermont are a side that even if they have a down season, they're always going to bounce back because there's just that attraction. They've been a powerful club for so long now in the AFNL, and just they've got some really, really strong juniors that always come through. As the Mount Evelyn senior women's coach, Steve Varley, joins us now on pre-game. He's done a terrific job, Mount Evelyn have done a terrific job since they've joined the AFNL women's competition in 2022. Thanks for joining us, Steve, ahead of this big contest.
No, thanks for having me.
It's exciting to see Mount Evelyn for the first time in the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round. I'm sure there's a bit of excitement playing out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve as well against a side that's a pretty strong side usually in Premier Division.
Yeah, every time we come up against them, they're always a good challenge. So it's a perfect day today for football. So no excuses.
Yeah, and just talk us through the side, because as I mentioned, it's the first time we get to see Mount Evelyn. There's obviously, you mentioned before, there was a lot of younger players coming through the Mount Evelyn juniors playing in this side today.
Yeah, well, if you looked at our team from when we came back from the Outer East, the names have changed greatly. So we've had, unfortunately, a few injuries along the journey, but the younger kids coming through are really filling the spots, and that's the whole premise of our whole program is to get those juniors coming through.
How important has that been for the club? And we've seen it along the lines of other strong programs. North Ringwood, a few others have really strong juniors, and that really helps the development because obviously in women's footy sometimes a large group of players leave. So just to have those players coming up from 18s every year must be pretty important, and especially for the club.
Well, we made it a real focus that under 18s was our main age level that we really wanted to have as strong. So the problem you have is if you only have 16s and no 18s, players will go to other teams that have got 18s. So we focused on that and really made an emphasis on being able to promote the talent pathways for the girls to wherever they wanted to go, whether it be Eastern or down to Hawthorn and those sort of places. And last year we were lucky enough to have India Lynn go down, and she's been drafted by GWS. So it's working, the girls can see it, but the main thing is it's like the whole club feels like just one unit. It was very segmented. The juniors were doing really well. They had a really good program, but there was no conduit between the two. And now that bridge has been well and truly filled, and it feels just like one complete unit, the girls, which they love.
And another debutant today in Tara Wilson. What can you tell us about her and her role out there this afternoon?
She's very raw. It's in all honesty, she's probably a few weeks earlier than what we'd expected, but injuries have sort of brought her along a bit quicker than we would have liked to. But she's going to give us some pace in the forward line. She's good overhead, and she's going to be a really good senior footballer to come.
And obviously last week as well, you did have a few injuries, and you managed to stick around with the South Croydon side, who's very strong as well, for 4 quarters and just came up short. But that must give you a bit of confidence in what the girls can produce this season.
Yeah, we have a real emphasis on the girls being able to win their own football. And that being the case last week, whoever goes on is usually able to hold their own in any position. So we're not overly tall, but it looks like Vermont's not overly tall either. So I'm expecting a pretty good game today.
And a couple of players that have come across as well, and there's still a bit of experience in the lineup as well. I mean, Jessica Smith, Aliana Parrott was a former Blackburn player, and Beth Cruikshank as well. How much have they helped develop some of those younger players coming into the lineup?
Yeah, well, she's only played the one game for us, so we really haven't seen what she can give us yet. But what we've seen so far has been pretty exciting. She's obviously come in late. She hasn't had a full pre-season, but we're sort of learning more about her. With Beth's been around for quite a while now. She's a really good kick. You'll see she's a great left footer, good mark, and she's really smart. She's played a lot of footy down, I think it was Oakley and whatnot in her time. And obviously Georgia McPherson is a quality footballer that she could have gone back down. She was scouted when we were playing Eastern Devils, and she just said, "No, I'm happy where we are now." So, but she's sort of led the girls in the back line, and pretty much showed them by example more so than her voice. So.
Well, we better let you go, Steve. We really appreciate your time on pre-game, and it's exciting times to see Mount Evelyn for the first time in a Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round. Good luck for today and for the rest of this season.
Good on you, boys. Thanks for taking the interest
in the
girls.
Thank you so much to Steve Varley there, the women's coach of the senior women's coach of the Mount Evelyn Football Club, and I'm excited to. They've been really good. They're the only side to have defeated the Eastern Devils since 2022, since they've come across. So, and back then obviously there was a bit more experience, but still it's exciting to see them backing in those younger players. The Mount Evelyn juniors are a pretty strong program, and they play in the EFNL as well. So it's only going to hold them in good stead.
And I think it's the most important thing with any club is where your juniors are at. And that's been pretty evident as we hear. I think that's the Vermont theme song as the Vermont girls come out onto the ground for the first time this afternoon, or this morning, apologies. And Vermont's quite similar. Very big junior program, very strong junior program. And that's what Mount Evelyn have done well. Their under 18s are quite strong, and they're coming into this senior lineup. They're fresh to senior footy, a lot of these girls, but they're going to develop very quickly, and they play a great brand of footy from what I hear from other opposition coaches. So I'm really looking forward to actually being able to see them live for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple of questions I want to try and ask Steve, but we were a little bit pressed for time. I'll admit that. But obviously with an outfit like Mount Ev, they do have a couple of teams across a couple of different leagues. And I wondered if Steve could provide that insight into the culture across multiple leagues, because it only makes a club stronger. As difficult as it is, similar region, but it's exciting to see what they can do.
Yeah, and obviously the senior men's side, I think they're competing in the AFL Outer East Premier Division as well. And yeah, I am interested to see what the type of culture that they've built. I'm sure it's pretty strong, but yeah, and it might get stronger just given obviously some of these women are new to senior footy, and some of them are still, I think, eligible for under 18s. I've noticed a couple that have played under 18s this season, a couple that started their seniors while they were still eligible for 18s last season. So it's great that Steve Ali is backing those younger players in, even when they're still playing junior footy.
So I think it's the second season now,
Second
or third.
Third season.
So that's incredible. So he's been able to see that development. And whilst, of course, they did get the wood over the Eastern Devils, what was it? 2022 it would have been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's just one win, but nevertheless they seem they're in to win it today.
And besides South Belgrave in that grand final, no one's really gotten close to them. So the fact that they were able to get done there, and even last year, I think they lost by 5 or 6 goals, maybe 7. That's quite impressive from a young side against a very experienced Eastern Devils lineup, and they're going to be better from
last week. I mean, that
to push South Croydon
had a brilliant start. Three straight goals in the opening term. I mean,
probably they've got an argument that they may have been the better side on the day as well.
Yeah,
I think
with a couple of injuries. So
I think it was the final quarter where they conceded 3 goals and didn't kick a single score, which probably hurt them a little bit. And I do know they have had some injuries. I mean, Georgia Plegsma is out of the lineup, which is unfortunate because she is a terrific player. There's Jasmine Hood and Kiara Simons who are out of the lineup as well. So
definitely a sign of things to come, though.
Yeah.
That game last week, and all the more reason, in part, I suppose, why we're here today, because we've seen a great start from the Rovers, and I think they're going to be a force to reckon with today. I'm not sure who I would tip at this stage, but I might get back to you when we're maybe a minute inside. But
we do have an Anzac Day ceremony before the first bounce, which we've got both sides about to line up. After the ceremony, we'll give our tips on who we think will get the job done. But great to see a good crowd in already. Obviously, a big day ahead. We've got the senior men's Vermont versus Roval grand final rematch as well.
Yeah.
And this game today between Vermont and Mount Evelyn. So looking forward to it, as I believe we're about to go down to ground level to the Anzac Day ceremony. Thanks for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Might be a minute off, but
just having some technical difficulties by the looks of things. But what an incredible sight this is to honour those who've gone before us, and we get to do that all weekend, which is great.
Yeah, it was great on Anzac Day when we were out at Morton Park, and it's become such a great tradition as we cross down.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everybody. May the best team win.
Lest we forget. Always a great tradition on Anzac round. Anzac Day, the Anzac Day, the Anzac ceremony honouring those who took their gave their lives. I should say to gave their lives in the battle line, and it's all set out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Let's get our tips. Ryan Long on special comments. I'll go to you first.
I think this is going to be quite a close contest. I just think Mount Evelyn might be able to pull away late in that last quarter by a couple of goals, but really fascinated to watch this. I think this will be two very good sides going head-to-head for four full quarters.
I think, just like last week, Mount Evelyn are going to get off to that really fast start. Vermont and Mount Evelyn both in the same case, I suppose, have a great list on paper. Then again, Mount Evelyn has that unknown thing about them because we haven't exactly seen them play all that much. But nevertheless, they have the talent, and I think it's going to be a really, really exciting matchup.
Boundary.
We go down to Kate for the first time today. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I just have the names of our umpires officiating today, Tyron Foster and Toby Colpert. Gentlemen.
Shout out to the EFLUA for that. Without
The
the
umpires, there's no
EFLUA,
game.
there would be no game at all. You said it perfectly, Ryan Long. And, conditions are absolutely perfect, as we said before, Wardy.
You can see on the screens it is a picturesque round and a picturesque
Josh,
day.
did we get your tip before we start?
We haven't. I'm back in Mount Evelyn. I backed them on Female Footy Focus, and I'm backing them to get the job done here. We're all set out at Vermont Recreation Reserve for the first of a doubleheader, the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round. John Oven, to get us underway.
Let's do it then. Premier Division footy for the first time in 2024, all around Australia and perhaps the world. Mount Evelyn get the first tap down, and they're red hot to start the footy. Picking up the ball there is Morgan Pay for Vermont, getting the ball. And it's a bit open at the moment as McPherson seeks to grab the footy. She gets it, but then is wrapped up, and we'll do it inside the junction here. It's fairly rusty last week, but it's good to get back to it. Josh Ward, up we go. Taking the ball out of the ruck there was Elder, and the umpire has paid a free kick going the way of Mount Evelyn. They're going to bring it out of defence.
It looks like it's Georgia McPherson with the first free kick for Mount Evelyn. Her kick was a very dangerous one, was nearly cut off. It is cut off now here, and getting the kick inside 50's Kiara Reid, although it was smothered. Mount Evelyn have the chance to rebound. That was a really good handball there from Jessica Smith. Her teammate couldn't get away from the Vermont pressure. And running away here is Mielka. High up and under kick. Couldn't find anyone. And we might get a ball up. We don't. Clearing their defensive lines of Mount Evelyn through Bowden. Kick was... did a bit of an angle of the dangle there, as Wayne Brasher would say. We're in the middle. We're in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. Vermont get the kick forward, and it's cut off, and Mount Evelyn can rebound.
So on the outer side they go. Along the edge of the centre square, mark is taken. They're going to move inboard. Oh, gee, that was a very shonky kick. Picking up the ball there is Smith. Then it was immediately dropped. Kick fell for Rennick almost. Can she pick up the ball? No, she can't. She goes to ground. Putting on the pressure there is Stewart. Sorry, it wasn't Stewart. It was Mielka. And we'll have another ball up just to the right of centre. Up goes the ball. Rice got the tap down. Vermont advance ever so slightly. Kick didn't quite fall for Stewart. She's into the game now. Hands off from Crookshank. Vermont inside. Chasing the ball there is Kildemetis, but now she had to leave it behind. Lee tried to get involved there as well. And we'll go for another ball up. Ryan, your early thoughts?
Yeah, Mount Evelyn look good so far. They're spreading quite nicely and getting first hands to the footy.
So umpire restarts things, and Savannah Bowden was wrapped up. And we'll have another ball up just on the outer side wing. Up we go then. Ball ricocheting off a handful of players. Nicely tackled. Or laying on the tackle there was Breth Crookshank. Will do it all again. Another ball up.
Ball tossed up inside forward 50 for Mount Evelyn. Bones looked lively early on in midfield. In fact, that was Edwards who couldn't get a handball away. Wasn't a free kick there. Could have been one for Smith with a push in the back. Ball pinging around, and we'll get a stoppage right on the paint of 50 out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. 3 minutes gone. No score on the board yet for either side, as Mielka got the tap down from behind. Will she follow up her own work? She doesn't. Many players surrounding this ball, and it's again not going anywhere. Forward 50 for Mount Evelyn. As the tap down this time. Out back there, getting the handball away was Haddon Edwards. They're inside 50. Mount Evelyn, but not for long. Vermont do well to clear their lines, although not for long as well. The mark taken by Georgia McPherson. Got players presenting herself. One of those is
Crookshank.
I think it is Crookshank. It is. And we heard from Steve Varley in the pre-game that she's got a thumping left boot on her. So it'll be interesting to see. She'll kick from just inside. We'll call them 45-metre arcs out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. As she comes in now, doesn't have the distance. Vermont have the players in the goal square, and they'll be able to clear their lines through Morgan Pay, although not for, or they will now.
So to the edge of the paint, Vermont scrambling to get a defensive clearance. Hands and knees there was Reed, the Vermont skipper. It's about 40 from home for Mount Evelyn. Pay got the tap down, though no one came to help her. Tapping the ball nicely was Meehan. They're out only momentarily. Mount Evelyn to bring it back in. Hands off to Smith. Smith inside 50. It's going to fall safely for Clark. She takes the mark in defence. Clark comes out, albeit to open space. One-on-one contest. Elder's got to do really well here. She instead turns tackler. Tackle was on
defensively,
Caitlin
they've held
Hoskin.
up pretty well, Vermont, with Mount Evelyn doing a lot of the attacking, and that was a strong mark there by Clark.
As Mielka might try to follow up her own work, doesn't. We'll get another ball up.
It was just under quite a bit of pressure in the opening few minutes, and they've held up okay.
They have held up really well as the tap down there from Sarah Rice. Found her teammate, but she was on hands and knees. Applying the strong tackle there, Kiara Reid, the captain of Vermont in the absence of Madeline Johns, who's missed the first 2 weeks, as trying to bustle her way through was Jessica Smith. She's a big body, is Jessica Smith in that midfield. We'll get a ball up.
It's a really hard ball to win at the moment. It seems that both teams are playing that really high-pressure game, and it's difficult to find a way out.
Yeah, they're playing really well defensively at both sides as Mount Evelyn get this ball on centre wing. Getting the kick away there is Olivia Jenkins. Drop mark there from Alyssa Levy. Vermont, will they pounce? They won't. McPherson has been strong early on, got a really good kick, and the mark taken there. I think that was Mackenzie Adams. Inside 50 she goes. Smith dropped the mark. It was really good pressure there from the Vermont player. It's out the back for Cruikshank, who can kick the first goal of this contest, and she does. Beth Cruikshank with the first for Mount Evelyn. They're 1 straight 6, the Rovers. Vermont yet to score after 6 minutes of play here in this first quarter.
Yeah, very impressive. I like the way they took the game on, went down the corridor, and they've certainly been able to use that very well. And inside 50, just the continuous inside 50s was always going to pay off eventually. And looking dangerous, a few of their players at the moment. McPherson's certainly one of them.
Only 6 minutes and 15 seconds is all it took for Mount Evelyn to get the first on the board. Clark got first hands off the deck. Vermont just really pushing here to try and get a centre clearance. They do through Pay to half forward. Only as far as that Mount Evelyn defender who found Rennick in space. She takes the mark. Mielke stands the mark. They go towards the junction, and that's a brilliant mark by Cruikshank. She's on track for a best on ground already. This is unbelievable start from her. A fantastic effort to get the first goal on the board. Cruikshank gets it to a contest over the back. Reed's got to work. She does. Cut off by those Mount Evelyn defenders. And they're doing very well at the moment just to cut things off. Vermont are in all sorts at the moment. Pay, she's been really good in defence. Gets it to the centre. Now here's the other Pay as well, Chelsea. They're inside 50. A chance went begging for Jevrich there. Ball hits the deck. Another effort there from Chelsea Pay. Getting in there was Hoskin. It's hard to say it without the G at the end, I have to say. Another ball up inside. For the first time, perhaps, a really good look for Vermont here inside forward 50.
As up they go in, right. Getting the tap down there was Pay of the Chelsea variety. Ball fumbling around. Elder shrugged off one, tried to get the kick away, couldn't. Mount Evelyn holding up well. Will they be able to clear their defensive lines? It's good pressure here again from Vermont. But Mount Evelyn hold up well. Brianna Hale goes to the far side looking for Alyssa Levy. She's up against Darcy Meehan. It's Meehan who almost won out. Is there going to be a free kick? There is to Brianna Hale. It was almost coat hanger style taken high there, Brianna Hale. She's on the far side, half-back flank here for Mount Evelyn. The kick was cut off. Strong hands there from Ashley Ackland. They'll take this kick on true centre wing far side. It's to the half-forward flank. Plenty of players surrounding this ball. One of those is Jess Elder. She started this game off really well. They're further inside 50, Vermont. Holding up well, though, Mount Evelyn. That defence, it's been a couple of times inside forward 50 for Vermont, but they've held up well, have Mount Evelyn.
So umpire throws the ball up. Rucks go to work, getting the tap down there. It's Rice. Ball hits the deck. Chance now for Vermont. Handball went out for Pay. Now it's hit the deck. Off the ground, chance for Bashano. She's been held. Free kick directly in front of goal.
And she won't miss this one. Kicked 4 last week. Got a great quick kick on her, and I expect her to finish this one off.
So she gets the ball back.
They call her the Wizard in the forward line.
Abracadabra. Put your fingers up, umpire. He does. And they have their first on the board for, I'm not going to say today because they scored heaps of goals. In fact, the Vermont under-19s won that game. Yeah. But they have drawn the ledger so far. Vermont 1 straight 6 apiece on the Cole Smith scoreboard here. And we'll go up again. Just over 10 to go here in the first.
So ball up, Mielke with the tap down. She's looked really promising in ruck as trying to bustle her way through was Hayley Watkins, couldn't. And umpire will call for a secondary ball up in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. Mielke another tap down. Tried to steal it away from her Vermont opponent, did Cadence Edwards, who I've liked her start in midfield, the young player. As we go up again, Sarah Rice with the tap down. Smith tried to tap it forward. Instead, it's Vermont that move it forward, and they get the mark here through Charlotte Jones or CJ. Handball immediately to Alice Campbell, who goes to the snap, and guess who's there? Georgia McPherson. She's been everywhere.
Fantastic start.
She's been everywhere in defence as Georgia McPherson as she goes to the half-back flank here on this broadcast side. No mark taken. Rice was pushed in the back.
Jeez.
And we'll get this free kick. Bit on the sides. I was about to say she was a
Oh,
bit
no.
on the side in ruckus. Her kick was smothered by her opponent in Mielka. Hay of the Morgan variety was wrapped up, and we'll get a ball up right near our boundary rider.
Smith
Take
not
it.
happy, it has to be said. Just shoved her opponent. Rucks went to work. He's trying to hack it out. One of them was Campbell at ground level. It's gone over the boundary line, presumably for a throw up, a ball up, I should say.
Yeah, I think that was touch there off
Yeah.
Holly Cullen. It would have been going out of bounds.
Boundary.
On the ball, though.
Let's go down to the boundary with Kate.
It was Vermont, then to Mount Evelyn, then to Vermont, so hence the ball up.
Fair enough. So we go up again. Nice tap from Mielka, and another ball up ensues. Players in the right position just need to just sort of break out and find space. Mount Evelyn are pretty good at that when they seem to break out of the contest. And we'll go at it again. Umpire throws it up. Fell for Hoskin. She was wrapped up by Meehan. About 50 from home. Mielka again. And there was Reed, tried to get it inside. Chelsea Pay to be precise. Defensive effort put on. Cullen sends it to the goal face, but just a behind. So Vermont have the lead early on. 7 minutes and 17 seconds to go here in the first term.
Just a couple of quick score updates. Montrose 1-1-7 lead Waverley Blues 1 behind. Knox lead Beaconsfield 14-7 in that Division 1 clash as well, as the kick in was intercepted by Vermont, but Jessica Smith is there once again. Might receive this handball here from Watkins, doesn't. Vermont applying really good pressure, and Morgan Pay will go inside 50. Kick was nearly intercepted by Brianna Hale. Tried to get past one, couldn't. Umpire called play on, and McPherson just thumps it as far as she can. Nearly found her teammate there in Maddie Cameron. Ball will go out of bounds right in front of the cricket nets out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve, and right near the scoreboard retreats Vermont 1-1-7, Mount Evelyn 1 straight 6. 6.5 minutes left in this first quarter as they'll get the clearance here. Cadence Edwards again will receive this ball. She's really started this game well. Her kick was nearly smothered. It still found the hands of Hoskin. Got past one. Goes to the half-forward flank where there's a big pack of players that have formed. Vermont have the numbers out the back. Oh, they're a really great tackle. A strong tackle from Emily Woods, who I was about to say looks like she's going back. She's got a couple of players presenting herself. Got the spoil in there, did Georgia Wilson. She'll pick up this ball. Was taken high there by Maddie Cameron and immediately plays on to Wilson. Kick wasn't all too great. It wasn't cut off though. Morgan Pay's lurking around this, as is Jessica Smith. Umpire will call for the ball once again. Big pardon, Georgia Wilson. Willow is her nickname, as we get a ball up here, half forward flank, fast side for Mount Evelyn. The kick off the ground there from Holly Cullen was wrapped up. We'll get a ball up right in front of the scoreboard retreats. Vermont 1-1-7, Mount Evelyn 1 straight 6. 5.5 minutes left in this first quarter.
Opposite side of the ground, Vermont get first hands to it. Now chasing it was Reed, the captain. Fell on hands and knees, got the ball in. If she tackled, she's gone. Luckily, it was set free. But in the hands of Mount Evelyn, they come inside 50. Who can get a mark? One-on-one contest pushed off, never mind. Vermont with the defensive effort. I think it might have been Kildametis in the back line. She sent it towards Morgan Pay. Couldn't take the mark. She still regathered. Got the hand pass off to Reed. Now inside the centre square. Mount Evelyn just too good at the moment. Watch how they move the ball. Wilson tackled. What does the umpire say? He says, my ball, 40 from home. And they moved the ball really well, which I suppose Vermont need to learn how to perhaps counter. Handball comes out to Parrott. Now it's a race between Adams, who gets the ball, and her opponent. She's wrapped up. We'll do it again. A big chance here for Mount Evelyn. Maybe about 25 from home. They get the tap down. It falls for Vermont for the moment. Big scramble, just trying to get the ball out. Ackland tried to put on the defensive effort. She went to +1 and Stewart.
Oh, almost took that.
And then Parrott almost took the mark and she goes to ground. So, this is very interesting at the moment. Rucks go in to work. Vermont trying to clear out. Campbell on hands and knees. She's on the bottom of the pack. Tapped it out to Cullen. Did really well. Mount Evelyn, though, just so clever in defence. Well, except it's not even that much of a defence 50 metres out from goal. Burton was what I was looking for. Tried to get involved in the contest. We've got another ball up. Chelsea Pay buried in
Tackling
and around
pressure
that.
from both sides has just been phenomenal.
It has been immense, almost finals-like, as Mielka got the tap down, and it was a big one at that. Couldn't get the kick away there, could Ashley Ackland, and we'll get a ball up here. Another ball up inside forward 45 for Mount Evelyn. Umpire calls play on the ball, spilled out, and Vermont will be able to go through the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. Trying to push away her opponent was Jones. She still managed to get a kick away. Smart kick there, although it might not pay off from Olivia Jenkins. Reed or Bianca Clark with the tackle. It's become a trademark of hers, that bright green helmet.
Have that last year?
Yeah, she did. I remember from the last game we saw Vermont when they took on South Croydon. As the ball just still in the centre square. The kick there from Kiara Reid did find Bianca Clark, who found Mielka, got a kick away. The kick off the ground from Jervich. Try to get it as far forward as possible. It's not going anywhere though, and we'll get
Boundary.
the ball up as we cross down to Kate Green on the boundary.
Just on the boundary here, both teams have an extremely similar style to each other.
As Jervich managed to get a kick away, but it was smothered. We'll get hands on this ball. Will Charlotte Jones try to handball it out to Bianca Clark, who had to become the tackler alongside Jones there on Hayley Watkins, and we'll get a ball up again inside 50 for Vermont. They get the tap out to Clark, who was wrapped up, not going anywhere against Indigo Bowden. And another ball up inside forward 50 for Vermont.
1:42 on the clock. Mount Evelyn have been really good in defence. Hale buries it. Sits over the footy like, what's his name, a couple of weeks ago. See, I completely forgot it.
Draper.
Draper from last week, or maybe Drooper, some people might call him. Comes out to Chelsea Pay, managed to get the kick away. Vermont's still in this one on hands and knees as Bianca Clark. We'll do it again. So 1:10 on the clock. A lot of stoppages so far today, but nevertheless a beautiful day here for Anzac round here in the EFNL. Parrott kicked it along the ground. I think she was infringed with as well. Yes, she was. She's got the free kick in defence.
So she'll take this kick in from the back pocket. It was a very dangerous kick. It was nearly cut off there by Pay. She might still get hands on this ball. Doesn't. The strong tackle there from Marissa Lee.
But I don't mind it. They're looking to take the game on every chance they get.
Yeah, don't mind that one bit as they look to go through the corridor here to Mount Evelyn. Couldn't get the handball there. Could Caitlin Hoskin still manage to get it out to Cadence Edwards as it's in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. Maybe one last chance for either side as the handball was nearly cut off there by Tara Wilson. There's a free kick for Mount Evelyn. There's not too much longer left.
Got to be quick.
They move it along indeed quickly as the kick out finds Eliana Parrott, and there's a player out the back here. If she just controls the ball, Wilson, she might get this chance on goal. She doesn't. Good pressure from Vermont. And there goes the quarter time siren. An enthralling first quarter. Only 2 goals kicked, but nevertheless, plenty of pressure applied from both sides. Vermont 1-1-7, Mount Evelyn 1 straight 6. The goal kickers, Beth Cruikshank with the only goal for Mount Evelyn, and for Vermont it was Madison Bazzano, their 2 leading main forwards up in that forward line for Mount Evelyn and Vermont, getting on the score sheet early. We're going to go to a break here. When we return, we'll have we'll cross down to Kate Green on ground level, and we'll bring you the second quarter of action out here in the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round between Vermont and Mount Evelyn.
take the game on through the corridor. They've had some plays out in the middle by themselves, and they've been able to use their run when they get going. But Vermont have held up quite nicely, and it makes her an interesting second quarter here.
Boundary.
As we go down boundary side to Kate Green.
Just with Steve at the moment. Message for the girls and a quick thoughts on that first quarter.
We let them on the outside a little bit more than I would have liked. We got our hands on the ball, but we gave it out too easily to our close-in handball targets. We need to get some width on that outside and a bit more composure going in.
All the best for the next quarter.
Cheers.
Thanks to Kate on the boundary there for her incredible work. We restart in the centre of the ground. Mount Evelyn just red hot at the moment. Kick comes out from Parrott. It's a good one to open space. It's going to be cut off by Clark, though, who was immediately wrapped up and ball up straight away on broadcast side. I use that term loosely, but nevertheless it is still broadcast side. I think it was Cullen. She tried to hack the ball off the ground, and then there was Morgan Pay with a high up and under in the Clark direction who ran onto it. Now on hands and knees is that Vermont player, and we'll do it again. That player in question, of course, is the captain in Reed. Up we go again. Oh no, the tap fell immediately for Smith, who sent a grubber along the ground. It fell for Stewart, and Vermont just trying to get the defensive efforts in, but it's not quite working, as Crookshank might get onto this one. She tried to send a kick before. 1 and 2 work together, and Vermont are out once more.
As they go to this broadcast side, centre wing. Couldn't pick up the ball there, could Chelsea Pay.
Oh, how's that?
Ball's wrapped up. That was, it could
Boundary
have been a high
quickly.
free kick. We go down to Kate Green.
Okay, just a message from Vermont coach Chris. Need to keep it kick to advantage, solid back work, great pressure, stay in front of the opposition, and keep building on positives from first quarter.
As Miyolka tried to bustle her way through, Sarah Rice couldn't. Sarah Rice was not letting go there at any cost, and she'll compete in this ruck contest. The kick inside 50 from Kiara Reid. Couldn't take the mark there, could Alice Campbell. Mount Evelyn will rebound, looking there for Parrott, who'll still get hands on this ball. Manages to get a handball away, but only to Bianca Clark. Kick straight into the hands of a Mount Evelyn opponent as they look to rebound the Rovers. Kick finds Jessica Smith, in one of Mount Evelyn's best in midfield. She goes down the line. 2 Mount Evelyn players against 1 Vermont. It falls out the back here for Crookshank. Tried to pick it up and couldn't. Bianca Clark could, but was wrapped up immediately. Parrott, who's had a fair bit of possession early on in this second quarter, is wrapped up. I think that was Holly Cullen. It was Holly Cullen that applied the tackle, and we'll get a ball up. Centre wing broadcast side as Miyolka again with the tap down, looking for Cullen. It's Pay that got the handball out the back, looking for Luca Clark, who's not going anywhere. It's taken out of there though by Cadence Edwards. Ball goes out of bounds right in front of the Vermont bench. Just under 3 minutes gone here in this second quarter. Vermont 1-1-7, Mount Evelyn 1 straight 6.
So about maybe 50 from home, Mount Evelyn, but the hack kick out was great from Vermont for that moment. Big fly, not quite. Pay was wrapped up. Edwards still managed to get the kick in. 1-on-1, players hit the deck. Edwards comes back to the contest. Umpire blows his whistle though and says that he'll have it.
It's a free kick.
In fact, no, it is a free kick to Bridie Burton.
Vermont player holding.
Okay, thank you. Smith got the handball off to Smith. And we come to the paint of 50 where Charisse Oliver has it. She goes inside, 1-on-1, over the back. And at ground level, Cameron and Clark. Vermont clear it again. Only as far as Parrott, who juggled and then dropped it back inside 50. Mark was almost taken there by Cameron. At ground level again, Vermont clear, although it's a bit of a shonky kick. Mark was almost taken by Milka. She's got a bit of work to do to try and get this out. She did, and found a teammate who was immediately wrapped up by Rennick. And we'll go again.
I've been impressed by Jasper Miyolka in ruck as well. Not only her ruck work, she's also done some terrific ground work as she got the tap down here. And becomes one of the two tacklers there on Charisse Oliver.
And they're just desperate to clear this out, and it's just constantly coming back because they're well set up behind the ball, Mount Evelyn.
There's no clear winner in that ruck contest. Kiara Reid wasn't going anywhere, and you can probably hear in front of us, Mount Evelyn.
A lot of support.
Yeah, plenty of support from the teammates. It was a good tackle from Charisse Oliver. Smith got the kick away. It falls short there of Tara Wilson, the senior debutant, and there's going to be the out of bounds free kick to Vermont as they again look to clear their defensive lines, but it's again to a big pack of Mount Evelyn players. Getting the handball away there was Isabella Rennick, the captain. Not going anywhere though. There's Vermont. Get a grubber handball away there through Darcy Meehan. Ball just pinballing around, and we're going to get a forward 50 stoppage on the far side, or just outside forward 50 for Mount Evelyn as they continue to attack. The tap down there from Mielka. Handball out the back from Edwards. Isabella Rennick's handball was shonky and it was intercepted, although Mount Evelyn might still go inside 50. Edwards out the back to McPherson. The short kick there from Smith. It found Isabella Rennick as they go inside 50 here. Mount Evelyn one-on-one did really well there, did Ashley Ackland. Ball goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in about 45 metres out from the Mount Evelyn goal.
Got a couple of scores for you in a moment. We can start quarter time out at Whitehorse. It's the Devs 38 versus the Ponies 6. Has the other Maroon team come towards goal. And just for the minor score, the other score we have also is the Devils Reserves, the Eastern Devils Reserves to be precise, out at the MCG of the East. 3-1-19 the Devs lead. Mitcham 2-1-13 as we come to the paint of defensive 50 for Vermont. And another stoppage will result. Have we got a score out from Surrey Park yet, Wardy?
I don't have a score out there at the Panther pit just yet.
So a kick falls for Crookshank. She gets the ball and headed for Oliver, who had to let it go. Is the ball still in? No way!
No,
I
don't
think that
know.
was called behind.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Charisse Oliver thought, hang on a sec, did I really just do that? A bit Jack Higgins-esque from all those years ago. Anyway, the score is Vermont 1-1-7, trailing Mount Ev 1-8.
As they move this ball to true centre wing, far side to Vermont. It was cut off though there by Olivia Jenkins. Again, another one of those younger players in this Mount Evelyn lineup as we get a...
They got out on the outside then. That would look pretty impressive.
It's in their forward half now for Vermont as they might advance further, although Jones spilt the ball. She still picks it up, gets the kick nearly inside 50. It was cut off right in front of the Vermont Primary School there, or Vermont Primary School sign as they go down the line. Mount Evelyn, centre wing, and the really good mark. Umpire didn't pay it. Handball away.
Trainer's got to get out of the way here.
Isabella Rennick as she goes down the line. Plenty of players here from Mount Evelyn, and getting the kick away there was Olivia Jenkins. To a couple of one-on-ones. Got away through, did Charisse Oliver, and getting the shot on goal there. It's fallen way short, in fact, as Bianca Clark gets this ball, gets the handball away. Vermont clear their defensive lines. Again, maybe not for long, though spilling the mark there, Savannah Bowden. Morgan Pay getting the kick away into the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. A spilt mark there from Lily Bunning. Mount Evelyn get this ball clear. Again, another dropped mark there, I should say, and Mount Evelyn have the numbers.
That's great work.
It's brilliant work. Olivia Jenkins on the outside, kick inside 50. Dropped the mark there, did Tara Wilson, who's threatened in that forward line. Crookshank gets it onto her left.
Brilliant.
Nearly dropped the mark there, did it Charisse Oliver. 2 against 1 in favour of Vermont. We'll get a ball up deep inside Mount Evelyn's forward 50.
Well, they're moving the ball so well. Ryan, did you say something, sorry?
Yeah, she did well with that second effort because it was a 2-on-1 contest, so never gave up.
Up goes the footy, and the Vermont ruck was taken out, in the opinion of the umpire, or not. It is a free kick to Crookshank. It was her, in fact, who was taken out of the ruck contest. It looked more like that, but
I thought the umpire paid it in the direction of Vermont.
so Cruikshank
Boundary.
on a slight angle to go to her second. We'll get to you in a minute, Kate, as she comes in and kicks right over the umpire's hat. Had to shield himself from the sun. Was it Sun or Sharon? It was indeed Sharon going over his head, and they kick away to 2-2-14, leading the home side 1-1-7. And we'll just get a time mark for you as we head down to the boundary with Kate Green.
Just with that, you were correct, Jono. The umpire did call it initially Vermont and then readdressed his call. A little bit shades of last week.
Yes.
As we go back up in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve, Mielka again, another tap down. Only into the hands though of Smith, who was wrapped up. Couple of quick score updates in Division 2. Quarter time at Surrey Parks that the Panthers lead 4-3-27 to Kilsyth, yet to score. Waverley Blues lead against Montrose 2-4-16 to 2-1-13. The Blues out there at Central Reserve as Vermont attempt to clear this ball from the scramble. We'll get a ball up, or the scrum I should say. Cross-coding there as we get a ball up.
Is that a wrong Sportmate nomination for the week?
No. There's Morgan Pay with the kick away. It was read well there by Caitlin Hoskin. And Charlotte Jones, who's impressed in midfield and up forward as well.
We've got another score update out at Batteram Reserve Basin 1-1-7. Trail Baronia 3-3-21 in the first term.
They don't mind playing out there at Batteram Reserve, Baronia, as the kick forward here from Mount Evelyn. It found the hands there of Beth Cruikshank. Got plenty of one-on-ones inside 50, goes deep inside. It falls out the back. The Mount Evelyn player will pick up this ball. Got a handball away, although it's only into the hands of her Vermont opponent. Cruikshank becomes the tackler. A strong tackle there on Alice Stewart. And we'll get a ball up inside 50.
They never get in control in this quarter and just lock it in their forward half.
As we get a ball up here, Vermont attempt to once again clear their defensive lines. Jones, can she applies the tackle, or you could argue both Jones and Watkins applied the tackle, and we'll get a ball up inside the centre square out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. The tap down found Morgan Pay. Kick was a very long one and was cut off. Immediately playing on it there is Brianna Hale. Kicks into open space. Vermont will get hands on this ball first through Ashley Ackland. She might pick up her own kick here. In fact, it's Darcy Meehan who does, and managed to tap it out the back there for Marissa Lee. Again, getting the ball there is Ashley Ackland. Kick favoured Alice Campbell, who swerved her way past one. Her kick was cut off by Georgia McPherson. Been as solid as a brick wall in defence as McPherson. 2
seasons so far at Mount Evelyn. And she's already a standout this year, along with, of course, Beth Cruikshank, I should say. Only has, she has 2 goals to her name. As you can see on the Cole Smythe scoreboard, 1-1-7, Trails 2-2-14. Umpire throws the ball up. Footy hits the deck. Vermont first hands. Vermont second hands. Just trying to clear that ball out. Morgan Pay wanted it. Had to leave it behind. Teamwork makes the dream work. Cullen spins around. Is pulled up by the umpire. What does the umpire say? He says, we'll go back just a while. As it seems that one of those Vermont players is down a little bit worse for wear. Score update, Josh Ward.
Got us out of Wally 2 Reserve. French Gully's first game in the women's competition since 2022. No. And as it looks like there is a very severe injury there, and it's Grace Hazelman. You definitely don't like to see that, so we might get a bit of a stoppage in play here, but it's French Gully who lead 15-0 out of quarter time against Nutter Wadding out there at Wally 2.
They're going to be good this year, Fenchurch Gully. Yeah,
I reckon, because they were in Premier Division when they last played in the women's competition, and just their sport players back this season have the Eagles from that side, and I reckon they'll be a top side in Division 4 as we get as she gets up off the ground there, Grace Hazelman, which is great to see, and We'll have a little bit of a stoppage in play. Around 5.5 minutes left here in this first half. Mount Evelyn 2-2-14, Vermont 1-1-7.
Probably would have been wise to maybe just take her off the ground via the boundary, but
Yeah.
they didn't actually end up doing that, which is a bit interesting.
Boundary.
As we
Let's
go
go
down.
down.
Yep.
If you take them off without going through the interchange, they can't come back on if they are able to. So hence why they're taking her out
Yeah.
over through the interchange.
That's what
Yeah,
I
it
was
makes
thinking.
sense.
Yeah,
I was thinking
thanks for
because
that.
she did get up off the ground. Maybe it was just a little bit of a knock for Hazelman. We'll see if she does come back onto the ground.
It's good to have a trainer insight, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Rory.
it is terrific. Terrific, and it's always terrific having Kate Green down on the boundary as we get this game restarted. 5 minutes left in the first half. Mount Evelyn leading 14-7. Jones managed to dig a handball out there to Pay. Got the handball to Darcy Meehan. Her handball was errant, and Mount Evelyn have the numbers around this ball, although Vermont start to get some numbers. Ball just trickling around there in the middle of that pack and not going anywhere. We'll get a ball up. Came right in front of the scoreboard. Out
Morgan
here.
Pay has been a tackling,
Machine.
a tackling machine general. I'm trying to find the words to say. I'm a little bit lost here.
And the thing is as well, she's managed to spin away or dance away past tacklers as well from Mount Evelyn. There's a couple of more tacklers for Vermont. One of those is Alice Campbell. Been a bit quiet after her best on ground performance for Vermont last weekend against the Hawks as they kick in. Goes inside 50 for Vermont. Here is Campbell, who's wrapped up.
Just important for the next couple of minutes here to lock it inside 50.
Yeah.
She's got an unbelievable CV, does
Boundary.
Slice. Let's go down to the boundary with Kate Green.
Number 33, Hazelman for Vermont. Someone landed on a knee, so the trainers
Oh,
are just
no.
doing a medical assessment of a knee, and I'll give you further updates when I receive them.
Savannah Bowden went down to ground, resulting in a ball up. Woods got the tap down on this occasion and sent the ball in the hands of Pay by the looks of things once more. We go. Woods in the ruck again. Sat well for Edwards, who put on the afterburners.
speed.
Did she run too far? Umpire said no.
She's got some pace.
And it lands in the hands of a Vermont defender by the name of Wilson. Willow indeed. Got it across the face of the field. And it's just bouncing around like a ping pong ball at the moment. Tried to fall for Pay. I think she might have gave away a free kick, but Mount Evelyn have it here. Going to send it as far as they can. They go inside forward 50. Vermont are there with the defenders. Now it's off hands. Chance for anyone at the moment. Getting the hands out there. Might have been Kildemeter. She did all right, but it was immediately cut off by Jess Pleagsma, who we've got a first look at today. Perhaps she's in the centre of the ground, and she's going to send Mount Evelyn back in.
As she goes onto that left boot of hers. Is the mark being paid? It is.
Oh, gee, that's an interesting decision.
It is a little bit surprising, but nevertheless, a good hands there from Tara Wilson. Juggled it. And we'll kick this from just inside the 50-metre arc, or right in between the 50-metre arc and the centre square. Kick was looking there for her teammate in Adams. Might still get this ball. She becomes the tackler and getting a kick out of thin air there. Darcy Meehan, although it was cut off. And the mark taken by Savannah Bowden. He's going back here. We'll look for options. There's a couple of one-on-ones inside forward 50 for Mount Evelyn. The kick was smothered. A really good smother there from Pay.
Defensive general.
She's
got an upgrade.
She has done brilliantly. Has Pay. Is a nice chain of handballs here. It ends in the hands of Emily Woods. Kick went out of bounds. It's going to be a ball up because the spoil there
hands.
went off the hands of Alice Stewart. It might have been going out of bounds, but on the full. But it's a forward 50 stoppage for Mount Evelyn with a minute left in this first half as the tap down there found the hands of Darcy Meehan.
Boundary.
There for Alice Campbell. We'll quickly cross down boundary side to Kate Green.
33, Hazelman for Vermont is now being iced. She's out of the game.
Oh, wow.
So a bit of a blow there for Vermont. A player down on the bench, Jono.
Inside a minute. Off hands, kick inside from Edwards, looking for a target. One-on-one contest sees no one in particular get it. Bowden had to leave it behind. Now here's a chance for Mount Evelyn. Can they get the hand pass out? No, they can't. Now, this is a bit of deja vu from the first quarter as they sent it inside 50 in the dying seconds. Adams tried to get onto that one, couldn't, was helped by Wilson. And it's a bit of a rolling maul. Umpire says nothing, doing my ball. Here we go. 18 seconds. Umpire's got to be quick here. What will happen inside 50 for Mount Evelyn? They know what they did perhaps in the first term. They've just got to be clean with it. Getting the hands off there is Smith. Her teammate went off to the goal place. Levy tried to pick up the ball. Can she get the hands off? She can. Wilson is beaten by the buzzer. Where does the kick go? It goes out in the full anyway. So that is half-time here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. The first of 2 games today covered on the Eastern FNL social media channels, including YouTube and Facebook. And at the moment, at half-time, it is Vermont 7, Mount Evelyn 14. Some thoughts from Josh Ward.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting first half. Plenty of pressure applied from both sides. I just saw before the ball might have bounced through for a behind just before. So no
score.
No score. So I was about to say it could have been a score. Usually,
so I apologise.
Siren went before she kicked it. So.
Yeah. So yeah, so it will be no score, so the scoreline will remain 2-2, 14 Mount Evelyn to Vermont 1-1-7. It has been an interesting first half, and the scoreline probably is a fair reflection of how strong Mount Evelyn have been. They would have liked a couple more chances, but still a pretty solid performance from Vermont in defence, and there's been plenty of stars. We're going to go to a break here, and when we return, we'll look ahead to what is set to be an interesting second half. It's Vermont that trail out here, 1-1-7, Mount Evelyn 2-2-14. You're listening to the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round on the AFNL's Facebook and YouTube page. Welcome back. Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. A massive double header for the Women's Match of the Round and the Eastland Match of the Round later on. Don't forget to tune into that game. 98.1 Radio Eastern FM and streaming on Facebook and YouTube from 1:15, the Premier Division Men's Grand Final rematch between Vermont and Rival. For now, all eyes are on the Vermont Mount Evelyn Premier Division Women's game, and at half-time, it is Mount Evelyn that lead 2-14 to Vermont 1-17. The goal kickers, Beth Cruikshank with both goals for Mount Evelyn, and Madison Bazzano, the only goal kicker for Vermont. Ryan Long, your thoughts on that first half? It was a really congested game and almost a finals-like game, really.
Yeah, a lot of stoppages, and the pressure from both sides has been fantastic, as we've mentioned across the broadcast. And I think you saw in that second quarter, Mount Evelyn continue to control the contest. They locked it in their forward half a majority of the term. Just weren't able to get the reward for their efforts. And you got to give credit to Vermont's back five, who have really held up well. It's a strong defensive lineup. They've had some players there. Willow's been one of them, who's been excellent in defence.
Boundary.
Morgan Pay's had plenty of it, but we'll go down to the boundary because Kate Green, I believe, has Chris Clark.
No, I actually have Steve from Mount Evelyn. Steve, message for third quarter and how are the girls going so far?
We're going really well. We're probably not getting reward for our effort going forward. I think we need to get repeat stoppages in the forward line. It's coming out a little bit too easy. So once we do that, keep it in that forward line, keep the pressure on, I think the scores will come.
Thanks very much, Steve. All the best.
Thank you to Steve.
Now I'm off to grab Chris. He promised me.
Brilliant. Thank you to Kate Green. Doing amount of work as always down on ground level, and we always appreciate it as both teams move into position for this second half.
As he said, yeah, the reward for effort.
Yeah.
They probably could be a lot further in front than just the 7 points, but they do have a lead, and it's up to Vermont to see what they can do to sort of combat their attack.
As Kate does grab Steve, we do have a score out at the pouch. It's East Ringwood 2-1-13, trailing Donvale 4-5-29. So a great start by East Ringwood last week, and Donvale have...
looking to respond.
Yes, indeed, looking
Boundary.
to respond indeed.
Hi.
Let's go down.
Just quickly got Chris. Chris, how are the girls going and what's the message for third quarter?
Look, I think in that second quarter, we got sucked into playing probably their brand of footy a little bit, got caught up in the stoppages a bit much. The width is our friend, so hopefully we're going to bring that width to the last half of the game. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
So as we get a restart, Mount Evelyn defence at the moment. McPherson was looking for Rennick. She couldn't quite, but she juggles the footy so well. Can she get the footy? Nope, she's going to see it. Oh, no, she doesn't. She kept it in. Outside the touchline, Reed was collided with. Oh, no.
That's a brilliant effort there, Isabella Rennick.
It is. Kildameter ended up with it. And we'll go up again. Milkett got the tap down on this occasion. Bowden sent it inside 50. And now here's a chance for Edwards, who put on the afterburners. Does she go for home? She doesn't quite. Tip of the goal square, one-on-one contest. Mount Evelyn win out. She gets it back, Edwards. And that is goal of the day. Hands down.
Play of the day too. Incredible effort.
Unreal from Edwards.
Oh, it's a behind.
Oh, no. Okay,
We've
sorry,
gone early,
scratch
we've gone
that. Let's
early.
go back 30 seconds. That is behind of the day. Unreal stuff from Cadence Edwards. It doesn't get any better.
She gets this ball, gets the shot on goal. Will it go through this time? The mark taken. Mackenzie Adams.
Hungry? I feel like Adams probably could have let that one through, do you reckon?
No, well, she does get it through nevertheless. A brilliant start for Mount Evelyn, a terrific behind before, and a terrific play there from Mackenzie Adams, who gets her first. Mount Evelyn's third, they're 3-3-21. Vermont 1-1-7, 18 minutes left in this third quarter. Cadence Edwards, I'll say, she has got some pace to burn. She is lining it up in midfield for Mount Evelyn.
That right there is a coach's dream, Audie.
Yeah.
Because you love to see a player who gets involved in one contest in one end and then goes down the other end to do the exact same thing, almost to the path of goal. Ackland was wrapped up. Sorry, it wasn't Ackland, it was Wilson. She was wrapped up. Umpire will do it again near the Syntho cricket pitch. Rice was nudged out of it, so here's another chance for Vermont to get through Reed. Immediately tackled by Savannah Bowden. Mixing up my consonants as well this morning. Such is the nature of just getting back to it, which is a great thing nonetheless. Mount Evelyn trying to hack it out. A big contest ensues. Cameron tries to get involved. She tackled her opponent quite well. Pay this time. Got the hands off, but then her teammate in Kildametis was immediately wrapped up. And we'll go to another ball up.
There's cries for holding the ball from the Mount Evelyn faithful. Nothing doing. Vermont will clear this ball from the stoppage, although they won't in fact. Mount Evelyn again applying really strong pressure. Ball not going anywhere, and we'll get a ball up. First goal, or the first 7 points of the quarter belonging to Mount Evelyn. They're up by 14 points now. That's the kick away there from Vermont. Won't go too far. In fact, it'll go to centre wing on this broadcast side, and a good tackle there from the vice-captain of Vermont in Jess Elder. Results in a ball up. Mielka, yet another tap down, been brilliant in ruck, as has Morgan Pay, who got the kick away to Elder, who tried to kick off the ground, couldn't do so. Trying to get away through there was Aliana Parrott, who stitched the long sleeves in this second half. Vermont have the numbers out the back. It's Bianca Clark, high up and under kick. All Mount Evelyn. Dropping the mark there was Georgia McPherson. Picks up this ball on ground level. She managed to get a kick away. It's out the back for Brianna Hale, who's got a player all alone in the middle, and that's Sarah Rice. Got the kick away. Front position there was Charlotte Jones. Managed to dig a handball out there looking for Georgia Wilson, who's not going anywhere. We'll get a ball up in the centre square of Vermont Recreation Reserve as up goes Sarah Rice. Tap down to Jessica Smith. Not going anywhere. And another ball up in the centre square of Vermont Recreation Reserve.
So Vermont trying to just find a way out here, and it's very, very hard. Centre clearances are often probably a big discussion, I think, and talking point in women's footy in general. It seems that Mount Evelyn on this occasion will be the beneficiary. Comes out for Cruikshank, I think it is. Goes to goal place, and that is, or goes goalward, I should say. And Adams marked perfectly. That Vermont player was definitely infringing on the 5-10 metre protected area, I think it would be.
I've liked Adams' game so far in this third term.
Yeah.
Getting involved quite a bit.
So Adams comes in, kicks,
Great
and kicks good. Mount Evelyn kick away. And perhaps it might just be a little bit out of reach for Vermont.
Well, the scoreboard's probably a bit more reflective of how the contest has gone so far. They were probably lucky to be within 7 points at half-time, and Mount Evelyn finally getting that reward for their constant effort and their forward 50 entries. So a 20-point lead now. Probably reasonable.
6 minutes gone. Vermont 7 plays Mount Evelyn 27. And we're back in the middle.
As up we go again. Marissa Lee been thrown into ruck. Got the tap down. Handball out there to Kiara Reid, who herself got a handball away and getting the kick inside 50. Georgia Wilson looks like she's been thrown into midfield. Dropped the mark there, did Alice Campbell. As it goes out to centre wing on this on the far side, Bianca Clark becomes the tackler. Jones tried to take it away from her Mount Evelyn opponent, couldn't. Get a ball up right in front of the scoreboard, or Cole Smythe scoreboard out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. As the tap down there goes in the favour of Mount Evelyn. Rice, handball away, and a kick. Doesn't go too far into the hands of Georgia Wilson, who cuts it off. Solid in defence has Wilson. Goes down the line to true centre wing, far side. Getting her hands on this ball is Alyssa Levy, who's not going anywhere. A couple of quick score updates. Half-time at Battery Reserve. Baronia 5-6-36 lead the Basin 4-2-26. So a mini comeback there from the Basin. It is the grand final rematch, or the Division 1 grand final rematch. Always an exciting matchup between those two, as the kick here finds the hands of Olivia Jenkins, whose kick was a high up and under one, and there's a high free kick going to Isabella Rennick.
Yeah, just slammed her in the back there, and I think...
The Braves standing under the footy there.
Very brave.
Indeed.
And rewarded.
So umpire restarts things, and so does Rennick. She goes out on the 45. Kick was looking for Jenkins. It was good, but she dropped it. Now here's a chance for Vermont to try and rebound, but Sarah Levy just too good on... Elisa Levy, sorry, too good on this occasion. Now it goes to the centre of the ground. Caitlin Hoskin getting involved there. Plenty of players around the ball for the Hoskin ended up with it in the centre.
Speaking of the Eagles, Beaconsfield 32-20, trail Knox 5-4-34 in the third quarter.
So Knox also off to a ripping start this year under coach Mark Eisenbeis, who of course coached the Basin last year. And it was great talking to him last week as well. Such a great guy to talk to, and it's great access that we have on the Deakin University match of the round. Hoskin roved it inside the paint. Mark was awarded to Crookshank. I think maybe it's probably just the premature whistle.
Yeah. Range it, she'll pass it.
So she does pass it indeed. One-on-one contest. It's won by Vermont. Ackland goes on the 45. And it lands in the hands of Clark, who will try and clear it out. They just need a goal, Vermont. What can they do?
They might not get an opportunity to do so here as the kick's cut off by Jessica Plegsma, who's outside 50 out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. So sets it up. Coming in from behind it was Jessica Smith. Couldn't take the mark as big pack forms, and it's not going anywhere. Ackland again trying to steal it away there from Tara Wilson. She couldn't get a ball up. That's the tap down there from Emily Woods, who did give away the high free kick to Georgia Wilson. As she looks to play on immediately. Got a player running on this broadcast side. It couldn't reach her. It's Crookshank that managed to get a handball away. They have plenty of numbers through Mount Evelyn, although a really good tackle there. That was on Watkins. It's Crookshank with the kick away, looking for Cadence Edwards, who kept it in. Can she pick it up? She can't. She's electric.
Oh, absolutely electric.
She is electric in midfield in that forward 50 for Mount Evelyn.
Almost expecting a BT style. That was out of bounds call. Here they come, Vermont out of defence. They can just, and they'll clear it for the moment. Nice hands over the top. Just got to move it. Great tackle there laid by Woods. And now here's Oliver sending it to the hot spot. The mark is taken by Vermont, though. On this occasion, it's Wilson. She goes out on the forward line. She goes out on the 45, I should say. Bianca Clark gathered, went for Ackland. Ackland gathered, put on the afterburners to send it down the line. Nicely done. But here come Mount Evelyn with the numbers. McPherson almost intercepted by Pay. She does get the ball in the end. Chelsea Pay this time. This is exactly what she went to the other Pay. A bit of 1-2 action, brilliantly worked, and then there was a grubber kick on the ground. Defensive effort put on by Hale, immediately wrapped up, and holding the ball is the goal. This is what Vermont want. Great tackle by Mielka.
Good opportunity here for Mielka.
Massive opportunity indeed. 5th season at Vermont. She comes in. Umpire says open hands. Not a conventional signal, but it's still a goal, and that's exactly what they needed. They go to 2-1-13, trailing Mount Evelyn 4-3-27. Here at Vermont Recreation Reserve, I think we've got a game on our hands, gentlemen.
That's a very important one. It's a timely one, Josh. And I think that's her 4th career goal. It's a fantastic effort, a great set shot, and just puts them back into the contest a little bit, back to 14 points. See what they can do through the middle. It's probably been dominated by Mount Evelyn in the last couple of quarters.
As the tap down there, no clear winner. There is a chance indeed. Got a player out wide here in Alice Campbell, who danced past one. She indeed sliced past one, in fact. Goes inside 50. Player all on her own. Couldn't take the mark there. Could Chelsea Pay? Mount Evelyn have the numbers out the back. And the kick out. There is a big chance here for Vermont once again. Kiara Reid, the captain. Got a player all by herself right on the arc of 50. And the intercept mark taken there by Olivia Jenkins, who Looks to play on immediately. Goes to a big pack. Nearly taking the mark there was Ackland, who's looked really good in this third quarter in defence. They get a handball out to Mount Evelyn. Burton at the bottom of that pack. Now at the bottom of the pack is Ashley Ackland. We'll get a ball up.
Intensity certainly has risen in the last few minutes from a Vermont perspective.
Played 13 or just under 13 minutes here. It really has lifted from Vermont. Can Mount Evelyn resist?
Oh, that's high.
It was not paid by the umpire there on Maddie Cameron. An umpire will call for it again right in front of the Vermont bench. As we get a ball up, the umpire tosses it back up. Tap out there from Marissa Lee, looking for Slice. Couldn't get past the tackler. Kick only found the hands of McPherson, who went a short dabbing ball for Cameron, whose handball was errant. Wilson out the back. Gets the snap kick away. Will it find a teammate? It won't. It's going to be a ball up here.
But it's good though, they keep pushing forward, now locking it in their forward half. And they're first to the footy a bit more this quarter.
So Darcy Meehan ended up with it, and now is the captain Reid trying to get it off to Campbell. She does, but then it was immediately intercepted. Chasing it now is Ackland. She gets the footy, regathered it well. Now best chance for Vermont. Lee tried. Now it's in the hands of Mount Evelyn. Great work from Burton to try and put in that clearing effort, but it went only as far as Jones, who's got a bit of work to do. Wrapped up by Wilson. Jess Elder laid on the tackle of her opponent in Oliver, and will do it again. So it's a bit of a construction site as well. Down for Wilson, and the umpire has called holding on Wilson. So 5 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock here in the third term. This needs to work for Vermont. Lee got the hands up to Cullen, except it went over her head. Oliver landed in the back of her opponent. Umpire said play on. It heads towards the touchline and near an interchange bench. But the umpire will call for it and we'll have a ball on.
5 minutes left, third quarter. Mount Evelyn lead 4-3-27, Vermont 2-1-13. There is a bit of a spark for the Eagles though, so they get this tap down here through Lee, who's been thrown into ruck. Alda looks like she's been thrown into fence. Got the kick away to Alice Campbell, who just thumps it on the boot. Mark was nearly taken there by Parrott. It's McPherson who receives this ball and got a player all by herself in Sarah Rice. Got plenty of teammates around her. The kick inside 50 for Mount Evelyn only finds the waiting hands of Georgia Wilson, or Willow. I beg your pardon.
Scoring the seniors, Eastern Devils and Whitehorse. Devils have kicked away once again, 64 playing the Ponies, 26 at halftime.
As it falls out the back here for Mielka, got the kick away to a one-on-one, did really well there, did Olivia Jenkins. Parrott will just take it out of bounds for a boundary throw. Again,
game's gone up a notch or two, Josh, in the last couple of minutes.
It has.
I suppose it's where Mount Evelyn wanted at this stage. Footy will go up. This time it's Mielka to try and get the tap down, but it's only in favour of Mount Evelyn. Kick was looking for Burton, had to leave it behind. Can she pick it up again? No, she can't. Red hot pressure in defence this time from Vermont. It's a team tackle, rather, not a two tackle, except there was two players involved there, Jones and Ackland. And the opposite, number 13, palms it down for Crookshank, who was immediately wrapped up. What does the umpire say? He says it's my ball. We'll do it again. Pressure's on for Vermont. 3:15 on the clock here in the third term. Ball fell for Edwards, who tried to move around it. And umpire said nothing doing.
I think if any side can score in these final couple of minutes, it's Vermont. No, not taking anything away from Mount Evelyn. Vermont, they've looked more lively or have had more possession in their forward half in these last couple of minutes.
Tap down fell for Cullen, but it's all to no avail at this stage as Campbell sliced it down inside forward 50. Chasing it now is Jevrich. It landed in the hands of Madison Bizzano, who has one goal to her name in the first half. And this, well, they definitely need it, that's for sure. Out of the ruck, Meehan got it in the hands. and then immediately turned it over. Chelsea Pay stood the mark. Mount Evelyn to bring it back.
Yes, they'll take this kick from the goal square out wide to a couple of one-on-ones. Who will win out? It's Mount Evelyn that do. Jenkins with the kick into the middle of the ground. It's cut off there by Elder. Got it to Clark, who gives it back to Elder as they go inside 50 here to Vermont, although not for long. McPherson. Kick was intercepted. Ellis Stewart reloads inside 50, but Zano on a lead against three Mount Evelyn opponents. Did really well. Mount Evelyn have the numbers, and they have the numbers at the fall of the ball, although out the back there is Ashley Ackland. Becomes the tackler there. So did Kildamitis. We'll get a ball up inside the centre square of Vermont Recreation Reserve. A minute and a half left in this third quarter. Will there be another score in this quarter? As up we go again. Mount Evelyn get the clearance through Smith. Edwards again gets the kick to centre half forward. No mark taken there. It just fell short of Tara Wilson. Out the back there is Ashley Ackland, who's been really solid in defence and gets a really good kick away to Alice Campbell. Took a bounce. Will she take another? She won't. Got the kick away to the half-forward flank. It was cut off there by Brianna Hale, who has plenty of space in front of her. Kick was read well by Ashley Ackland. Mount Evelyn have the numbers out the back. Crookshank has the kick inside 50 here from Jessica Smith. Elder, she'll win this foot race and gets the handball away to her teammate.
Well. Ackland had a bit of a death roll on broadcast side, so Kate, if you can keep an eye on her, that would be great. Rice.
Boundary.
Tackled. Let's go down, Kate.
Ackland's just breathless, just a bit winded.
Yeah, fair enough too.
She's been
copped a good knock.
One of their best plays today. I really liked her intensity.
23 seconds. Mount Evelyn have another chance to score at the death. They've had one of these opportunities every single quarter. It's cut off by Elder for the time being.
In danger.
Is that kicking in danger? It is.
Adams.
Wow, so Adams can right the wrongs of the first two quarters and finally get that goal, on this case, after the siren.
Don't mind it.
This would be for goal number 3 too, and she's had a very lively quarter. Led from the front.
So Mackenzie Adams has a chance to maybe put one nail in the coffin ahead of three-quarter time. She comes in. Listen to the crowd. You know it is. It is a 6-pointer once again, and they move out to 5-3-33, leading Vermont 2-1-13 on the Deakin University match of the round. Some more thoughts as we can see the Vermont and indeed Roeville players perhaps a little bit later come onto the ground. This is the Deakin University match of the round, and Mount Evelyn lead it by 20 points. We'll be back soon with some messages and thoughts, and indeed the final term here on a big day here on the Eastern FNL YouTube and Facebook streams.
Welcome back. Deakin Uni women's match of the round out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Vermont up against Mount Evelyn, the start of a big double-header. The Eagles and the Rovers women's side going head-to-head before the grand final, the Premier Division Senior Men's Grand Final rematch between Vermont and Rover. Once again, catch all that action. Radio Eastern 98.1, streaming on Facebook and YouTube, or as we call it, the Bear Brasher Cup. We cross down boundary side to Kate Green.
Hey, Chris, the last quarter, what's the message?
Oh, I think they're probably a couple more points shy than they need to be. I reckon we've got 24 in us, so 4 goals. We should hopefully bring this strong. We've just got to play our brand of footy, and our footy is wide and hard running. So another more 20 minutes. Let's hope we can get away with the chocolates today.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Chris Clark and indeed Kate Green down on the boundary. And I say, this facility is absolutely magnificent. And you did mention the Baird Brasher Cup, I believe it is. Got to get it right. And I note that the honour boards inside the pavilion are incredible. I've already seen a couple of W. Brasher mentions. He's got a couple of club awards in the cricket club, and I think that's the best thing about Eastern footy. We're a tight-knit community, and I think it's unmatched, I think.
Yeah.
I might be
Brash
biased.
will be loving this driving to the ground, hearing his shout-outs before he's on air.
Yes, indeed. We do love our elder statesmen in Ray Baird and Wayne Brasher. And it's all about them. Let's go down to the boundary with Kate Green.
Steve, last quarter message.
Last week we took our foot off the pedal a bit and it bought us, so we lost by that point. The girls are really committed to that not happening again.
All the best. And I must note that you and Chris respectively are getting a lot of cheek from your respective players. Any penalties there for them? Extra running?
Yeah, there's definitely more running coming out.
Bring your mouth guards.
As we get started in this final quarter, Vermont with the first foray forward. Alice Campbell out the back, couldn't take the mark there, could her teammate. McPherson again with the clearing kick. She's been one of Mount Evelyn's best in defence. Although it doesn't go too far, it's still inside forward 50 for Vermont. Jones couldn't take control of the footy and we'll get a ball up. We had a double siren to start us off in the final quarter as well. So,
yes, indeed.
We'll get a ball up here. Inside 50 for Vermont as Jones couldn't get a kick away. Not going anywhere. And another forward 50 stoppage for the Eagles. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get the quick start in this final quarter as Bunning goes up in ruck. It's the tap down though from Emily Woods. Will Vermont get control of this ball through Reid? They do. McPherson tried to steal it away, couldn't. John O'Ven?
Score out of the MCG of the East between the Devs and Mitcham. Devs have come away to a 15-point lead at three-quarter time, 7-4-46, Mitcham 4-7-31.
It's like the way Vermont have started this last quarter too, Josh.
They have started off well, although Mount Evelyn moved this ball further forward. The ball from behind there from Alice Stewart. Mount Evelyn still get this ball coming from behind. Jasmine Mielka.
Wow.
With a terrific tackle, the big ruckman.
It was a great tackle. It was a great tap by Cruikshank at ground level, but just wasn't to be as she gets the ball back and sends it in the Edwards direction. Can she pick it up, the ball? Yes, she can. Got a bit of juggling work. Edwards might get the hand pass back from Pleagsma, but she just goes and does it all herself. Oh, does it go over the line? No, it doesn't. It's tapped inside, and that's clever from Vermont. In fact,
it's a goal.
No, it's a goal. I think we need to get some arc technology because that was a bit interesting. We didn't quite know what was happening there, but yes, indeed. So Pleagsma has the goal in career game 100, and that's her 8th goal indeed in her career as well. So perhaps another nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
of Vermont 6-3-39 leads to 1-13 here. The Deakin University match of the round.
As they go back up in the middle, the tap down there from Emily Woods, who's been swung into ruck to start this final quarter, might get this ball. She tries to create an outlet.
I note that there was a match of the round last year. I think it might have been at H.E. Parker, where the ball was kicked for goal and then it bounced back in. Everybody thought it was a goal. I can't remember the end result, but that was actually pretty funny.
It's a terrific goal nonetheless.
I think Blake Tennant and Paul Yaconi absolutely loved that. The two goals.
I do remember that now, actually.
Yeah,
now that you mention it.
I am starting to remember that goal as well. But that goal before was terrific nonetheless, and it is almost another nail in the coffin.
And well deserved too.
That was. It was Cat and Semplitz again, just setting it up inside forward 50, and then the brilliant finish from Pleexmers. The free kick here going in the direction of Woods. Kick into the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. It falls out here for Alice Campbell. Dance past a couple of opponents. Kick looking in the direction of Charlotte Jones. Couldn't take the mark. It was a good effort. And another good tackle there. She's been one of Vermont's best, to Charlotte Jones. Alice Campbell has also started to come to life in this second half as well. As up we go again in this ruck contest. Nothing doing. Smith tried to get a handball out. Couldn't. We'll get a ball up once again, Jono.
13 plays 39. Here in the Deakin University match of the round, the first, of course, of Premier Division this year. Hits the umpire, play on in the direction of Clark. Tried to kick it off the ground. Rennick did all right to sort of put on the defensive effort, but Clark sends it inside. And Mount Evelyn are going to bring it out again. So in the centre of the ground, it's marked by Vermont. Quickly plays on to Campbell inside 45. Almost fell for Parrott, the defensive mark. Parrott does get the ball. Tried to get it off to a teammate. Chelsea Pay puts on the pressure. Slaps it down to ground. She was wrapped up. Inside now for McPherson. It goes to relative open space. Here's a chance for Vermont. They go to the top of the goal square. Defensive mark was spilled. On the ground now. Players come to meet the football. It's a tough ball to be won. Meehan was trying to juggle it at ground level. Great tackle there laid by Milka. And we'll do it again. So probably the first real look at what Mount Evelyn's been doing all day, but in the case of Vermont, clever little soccer off the ground, goes to the top of the goal square. Parrott's got a bit of work to do. It might be a Vermont goal, or
it's
no.
A free kick.
So kicking in danger, perhaps.
I think it was in danger.
Kate, did you see a signal there?
Yeah, kicking in danger.
It's kicking in danger indeed. So Parrott's got the ball in the goal square.
Goes to this broadcast side. No mark taken there by the Vermont player. Falls out of bounds, and a free kick to Vermont. Last touch rule. Score updates in Division 2. 3/4 time, Waverley Blues lead Montrose 49-28. Also 3/4 time at Surrey Park. Kilsyth yet to score. Surrey Park 6-14-50. As Vermont get another chance inside 50. Out the back for Bunning.
Oh.
Is there a high free kick?
How's
Nothing
their head
doing, says the umpire. Bazzano. Her handball was errant, and getting the clearing kick is Parrott, who's also been solid in defence, although it's Campbell with the mark. Inside 50 she goes. Drop mark there from Mount Evelyn as Bazzano got a handball away there, looking for Alice Stewart. Who wraps up her opponent, and will get a ball up.
That almost proved costly for Alice Stewart because she sort of went straight for her opposition player as opposed to the ball.
As Bazzano got the kick away to Pay, and there is a free kick. So a chance for Vermont's third goal of this contest, and it'll be Chelsea Pay. We'll get this set shot on goal directly in front. We'll kick from nearly the tip of the goal square, around 20 metres out from goal.
Just briefly, Wardy, I have to say this, and it's important that everybody has to know. Chelsea Pay has a background in basketball. I butchered that. Anyway, straight back to
she comes
basketball background.
She comes in, slow, deliberate approach, has no problems. Well, as Brett Beston always says, every good comeback's got to come from somewhere. It's still 20 points the margin, 3-1-19 Vermont.
They've probably been the better side in the last term. I think they've had a few more forward 50 entries, and not for a second has it looked like they might just throw in the towel and let this margin blow out. They're going to fight this till the end, and that's exactly what they're doing. And their attack on the contest has just been very impressive, Josh.
I have to say, full credit also goes to the Vermont technical department. Very impressed with the goal stinger. As we go back in the middle again, Vermont first hands to it. On hands and knees is Jenkins. Can she get it out? No, it's still in possession of Vermont for the moment. Morgan Pay tried to get involved there at ground level. It is still in the hands of Vermont. after it tossed and turned a bit. Now the one-on-one contest. Great golden fist from that Mount Evelyn player. Does it fall for Jenkins again? It does. And they're out now. Hale tried, couldn't. Now here's Meehan trying to pick up the ball. She does indeed. Went for Marissa Lee. Had to do the juggling act. Intercepted by Smith. Kicking to relative open space for the moment. One-on-one contest. Who can get to it first? It'll be Wilson. And players converge on the footy. She's dived on that. It's got to be holding the ball. It's not.
I got to say, Eklund for Vermont, her sense of where the ball is when it's on the ground is uncanny.
So the ball fell for Liv Jenkins, but the mark is taken in defence by Clark. This time Luca Clark. Come again down the line. Golden fist spoil from Hale. Might see it go to touch. No, it can't. Vermont still just peppering away. A kick from Jenkins. Jenkins lands in the hands of Vermont, and they're back out again.
It's Elder with the kick into the middle of the ground. Found Ackland. You could argue she's been probably Vermont's best consistent over 4 quarters.
Fantastic last week too. Team of the week.
Yeah, and I think, so terrific couple of weeks to start the season for her as Mount Evelyn get this kick out to Bridie Burton. Will just take her time. We've got 10.5 minutes left here in this contest as she goes inside 50. Burton out the back. Charisse Oliver with the mark. And she can take the full 30 seconds and potentially all but seal this game for Mount Evelyn. I hate to go the early crow, but it'd be hard to see. Unfortunately, it might be hard to see.
Beware the caller's curse, Josh.
It's a thing of beauty, the caller's curse, as Oliver comes in. It falls short. Plenty of players on the ground here, and one of those players is Ashley Ackland. He'll get this kick away in the direction here of Luca Clark. Plenty of green grass ahead of her. Though kick was a little bit of a grubber here. She becomes the tackler there on Sarah Rice, who managed to get a tap out there to Charisse Oliver. Kick was very high, looking for Crookshank, who was almost pushed out of the ball. Legally, said the umpire. As there's plenty of Mount Evelyn numbers around this. They managed to work their way around, although Alice Campbell with the cut-off. Kick into the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. And it stacks on.
How's her head?
There's a high free kick indeed being paid. And it's going in the direction here of Caitlin Hoskin.
So Hoskin moves further afield. Finds Bridie Burton. Had a goal last week against South Croydon. She launches it deep inside. And I think that might be Crookshank again. Got a mark and she's limping off. Let's go down to Kate.
Just with Crookshank, at every point where the ball's heading her way, she's had at least 2 to 3 Vermont on her, so she's done really well to get that mark.
An impressive CV. Played with the Creekers in the Northern Footy League for her 3rd today. Set sail for home, and it's through. So another goal. 7-3-45. And the Rovers 3-1-19, the home side.
Maybe one of the differences in this second half, and that's really helped out Mount Evelyn, is their targets up forward. Yeah. Obviously, Crookshank and both Adams have had the 3 goals each, so 6 between them. And you look at the difference on the scoreboard, that's probably it. They've been able to capitalise in front of goal on their set shots, and really impressive, and they're players to watch this season for sure.
And 3 of those goals for Mackenzie Adams have come in the second half, or all in the third quarter. Yeah, so will she get another chance
We'll
here?
Be clipping that up for the Instagram reels,
Yeah,
Josh.
as she goes, they go inside forward 50 here, do Mount Evelyn. Crookshank at the bottom of the pack. It was a good tackle there from Luca Clark. The ball spills out. Pay had to become the tackler, although doing really well there was Tara Wilson. Ackland not going anywhere. Sarah Rice with the tackle. Quick score update at Batteran Reserve. The Basin lead at 3/4 time, 7-2-44. But we're only a 5-10-40 out there. So it's going to be a grandstand finish out at Batteran Reserve as Smith got the kick away, looking for Adams.
Oh.
A chance for her 4th goal in the second half. She may have one of the safest pair of hands in the business, Mackenzie Adams. Been brilliant in the second half and almost the best on ground for her.
Yeah, got to be close. I mean, she's leading to the ball really well. And then the kicks to her have been pretty good.
Especially in this second half as she comes in. Slow, deliberate approach. Leaves the boot really well.
Never in doubt.
You're not wrong there, Ryan Long. It's Mackenzie Adams' 4th goal of this contest. And Mount Evelyn, they're out to 7-3-45. Vermont 3-1-19, or it might be 8-3-51. I'm not 100% sure. It is indeed 8-3-51. Vermont 3-1-19. Just over 6 minutes left here in this contest, Ryan.
Yeah, and that delivery inside 50 has been a lot better in the second half. They had a lot of footy inside 50 in that second quarter, but they've used the ball really well in the second half, and it's certainly benefited the likes of Adams, who has got on the end of 4 goals now.
So, 5-6-5 has gone the way of Mount Evelyn. They have the ball in the centre of the ground, as per the new rule, I believe, Wardy.
I think it is a new rule, yeah.
Jess Smith sent it inside the paint. And I think Oliver was wrapped up, so we'll go again.
Still a lot to like from a Vermont perspective as well. They've fought this out, pretty well. The scoreboard might, read a 5-goal margin, but they've really they've kept the intensity.
Elisa Levy involved in that particular passage of play. Locked up on the outer side. Ball almost fell for Edwards. Got Hosking to help her in and around the footy. Can she duck and weave her way out of this one? She can just. Mount Evelyn still have possession. Out of the centre of the ground they go through Bowden. Top of the paint. It's marked by Vermont. We send it out in the 45 to open space, but this is what Mount Evelyn do best. Rennick got the hand pass away, it looked like, and holding the ball was the call from the umpire. So Campbell will send it down. Dodged 1, dodged 2. Josh Ward, over to you.
As she goes inside 50, couldn't take the mark there. Kukiara Reid, who's been swung up forward. Mount Evelyn do well to clear their defensive lines. Campbell at the middle of that pack. Try to get a handball away. Did Rennick. She gets hands on this ball. Campbell's not letting her go anywhere, though. We'll get a ball up. Still hot in the kitchen out here.
Thanks for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. We've got Wade from Bismarck, North Dakota, USA, listening to today's game. North Dakota.
Any Pakistanis listening in this week?
No, we had a few last week.
Any from Thailand as well?
No, Thailand on Thursday.
Yesterday
there was.
We are global, of course.
We are
Easterns everywhere, as I like to say.
As this ball's not going anywhere in the hands of Jessica Smith. It has gone global, the EFNL.
Where is Pakistan? That's in Eastern. Okay, I'll stop
As
now.
Mielka got the tap down to Jessica Smith. Kick, nearly marked there from Ashley Ackland. Might still get hands on this ball. It's in fact Charisse Oliver who does. And we'll get it ball up. 3.5 minutes left in this final quarter.
So we go up then. Vermont have been very impressive in the ruck. The ball fell for Elder, almost tackled. Someone was very hot on her tail. In defence though, strong as ever are the Rovers. And they go towards Edwards. Has been incredible today around the ground. One of the best on ground so far. Kick was perfect for Oliver. She goes towards the paint of 45. Kick was looking for Wilson, not on this occasion. Can she still pick up the ball? Tapped it along the ground, didn't have it when she was tackled. Now here's Crookshank to the goal place. It's going to be a bouncing ball. It's going to be very tight, collected by Wilson, immediately tackled by Woods. And, well, that would have been a great goal chance gone begging. Right on the goal place. She might just be able to do it all herself. She got it off to Burton, who was immediately smothered. And then there was Ackland getting involved there. Out of defence, Vermont for now. Great work there from both players, but it was Mielka who sort of run out. They all go down the ground. Hard ball to be won still, as is the case. Solid tackle by Meehan. Does the umpire put a stop to things? He doesn't.
As Jessica Smith got the handball away out the side there to Caitlin Hoskin, inside 50 to Crookshank. who might go back here.
I have to say, I mean, yes, Mackenzie Adams, has the bulk of the goals. Been very, very impressive. I think Cruikshank is just her efforts at ground level as well as, in general play have been absolutely fantastic. I mean, look, the umpires probably won't see it this way, but she's got my 3 votes. I like the look of her. I think she's been great.
She's done well to get the ball to ground as well. Her shot on goal is out of bounds on the full, and the free kick will be taken by Mia Kildamitis. She'll have to get this ball back. Wilson was looking for the free kick there, or Willow, I should say. Kildamitis goes far side, looking for Ackland. There's Cruikshank again.
Unreal.
She's taken marks this time. Wheels onto her left. Goes to the top of the goal square. Wilson parked underneath this. Was
Brilliant
infringed
mark.
with. It was a terrific effort there from Georgia Wilson, who...
Willow's fought hard.
Oh, Willow,
all morning.
She has fought very, very hard as Willow. So she's got a decent resume. She's a pretty talented player as well.
Third senior season with Vermont after a big junior season with the Eagles as well.
I think she was a former Eastern Ranger as well. As the kick smothered inside 50, and Wilson again on the receiving end of this, and we'll get a free kick.
So Wilson just moves straight ahead. Let's go down to Kate quickly.
Just on the boundary, Willow that you're talking about, is that Georgia Wilson?
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Yeah, a coach at the when I interviewed did a quick notes on them. As I mentioned to you guys, he flagged her as a real hard worker.
Edwards went to the top of the paint.
She certainly has worked hard.
And found Bridie Burton successfully. 46 from home. She loads up to it. Contest out the back here is Cruikshank. Let's see what she can do. Does she collect the footy? Ackland's red hot as well. The siren will beat them both. And the Rovers have registered a big win here. 8-3-51. They win, beating the home side Vermont 3-1-19. So Vermont won the first of the day in the under-19s. Vermont defeated, of course, in this one, the match of the round, the first match of the round in Premier Division as well. We might potentially be able to go down to the coaches if Kate can find Chris Clark. He's been great all day, but let's get some thoughts from Josh and
just
Ryan.
waiting for them to come together to thank each other, because that way I've got them both together.
A great call there, Kate. We'll go through the goal kickers first. For Vermont, Jasmine Mielka and Madison Bizzano with the goals for, and I think Chelsea Pay as well kicked a goal for Vermont. For Mount Evelyn,
half, that's right.
For Mount Evelyn, Mackenzie Adams with the 4, all coming in the second half. Beth Cruikshank with 3, and a single to Jessica Plegsma. I'll get that out of it eventually, but she was terrific today as well. Well, her goal, I should say, was absolutely terrific. But a terrific result for Mount Evelyn. They came charging in that final quarter as well. I think they did in the end win the final quarter, 2 goals or maybe 3 goals to just the one. And a terrific effort for Mount Evelyn, Jono.
Just before we get down to Kate, I'm pretty optimistic at Mount Evelyn's chances against the big names, the South Croydons, the Eastern Devils. Will they necessarily get the win come the time they come down to Mulgrave or vice versa? I'm not sure.
Could be a real
Kate,
hey guys,
can we chuck the headset on?
Just one moment.
Of the guys? So let's start talking with Chris Clark. Commiserations
for me
on the win, as I was about to say. But I tell you what, some of your girls just showed incredible stuff out on the field.
Yeah, look, we're pretty happy with what we did, but Mount Ev were just too strong for us. They put the body on us early in every contest, and we just sort of got a little bit talked out, and so we were a bit messy with the ball. Yeah, we in the past we've been a lot cleaner with our use, and today we were just kicking under pressure, kicking high, kicking not to advantage. It was a bit disappointing, but stuff to learn from, and so hopefully we come back next week bigger and stronger.
Chris, still a terrific performance nevertheless, taking it right up to Mount Evelyn, who look like a really good side this season. There were some pretty good plays as well that we were impressed with, particularly in defence, that really stood up. Who, from your point of view, stood up to you today?
Look, I think Willow down back, she's a bit of a player we can put everywhere, and she was incredibly strong down there. She's a real general in defence. She had some fantastic clearing work, and she was looking wide, and we had some runners out there to receive it. When we didn't and we kicked back to the contest, that's when obviously Mount Ev then ran back over the top of us.
Well, again, Chris, obviously commiserations on the loss. All the best for next week. We'll let you go, and if you can maybe hand off to maybe
Steve?
back to Kate or Steve.
Done. All right. Fantastic, boys. Thanks so much. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much to Chris Clark down there as we go. As we will get Steve Varley now. Steve, congratulations on the win. It must feel pretty sweet to get on the board for season 2024 after a bit of heartbreak last week.
Yeah, it's good to get that result. We finished the game off a bit better than last week. Yeah, the girls really deserved it.
How impressed were you with the third quarter? I think you probably controlled that second term, but weren't able to get the score on the scoreboard. And then it started to open up a bit in the third, and Mackenzie Adams got on the end of a few goals.
Yeah, we spoke about wasting our opportunities going in. It's only like a 40-metre, not a 50-metre mark. So we were trying to kick it deep when you don't need to on this ground. As soon as we started going a little bit shallower with our entries, it started to pay a bit more results. So it was good.
So obviously a big win. So many standouts in this team. Can you maybe give us a bit of an insight when you get into the sheds who you might have in terms of your best on votes today?
Well, I think Beth Cruikshank played really well today, and so did Macca. They've obviously finished off the work, but I think a lot of it was started by our young players, like Liv Jenkins. That's only her second game of football in the seniors. So that was an amazing effort. We want to try and get her an opportunity down the line. So hopefully someone was here to watch that game today, and we'll probably send that tape to a few people, and hopefully we get a bit of response there. And Cadence Edwards got us a bit of speed around the ball, which was really
Couldn't
good.
agree more. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that performance today, it does give you a lot of hope going forward that this side can go very far. It's a very young side, as you said at the start of the broadcast, but you must be very impressed.
Yeah, well, as I said, early days, we work really closely on the girls winning their own football, and I think that was evident today that whenever the ball was a one-on-one contest, I think we won the majority of them. So, yeah, it's all looking positive going forward.
Well, Steve, we really appreciate your time both on pre-game and throughout the game and after a terrific result. We'll let you go. It was great seeing Mount Evelyn first time today as well. Luck for the rest of the season.
Good on you boys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you to Steve Varley down there. They've both been terrific with their time, Steve Varley and Chris Clark, the two respective coaches of Vermont and Mount Evelyn. We better wrap up out here in the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round. A pleasure to call alongside you, Jono.
Might be our first time actually calling women's.
Yeah, I think it was probably the first time we did women's.
Took us a while.
Yeah. Ryan Long on special comments, doing a great job as always.
Thank you, Josh.
Our illustrious leader.
Great to see both sides out today. We've been looking forward to seeing Mount Evelyn for a long time. They've very much impressed, and I like what we saw from Vermont as well in patches. So really looking forward to see how both these sides compete throughout the rest of the season.
And also really looking forward once again to the Eastland Match of the Round. Don't forget to tune into that 115 98.1 Radio Eastern FM, streaming on Facebook and YouTube. But for now, we'll see you next week in the Deakin Uni Women's Match of the Round.